Going to the wild. A wild is a place where when animals live in their natural habitat. Okay, then if you don't remember, the word habitat is the homes that the animals live in nature. Okay, so we will see or read about the story of how the animals that live in the wild survive. The word survive means how do they continue to live? Okay, so the essential question is, how do animals survive in nature? How do animals continue to live in their natural habitat? How do they live in nature? Okay, let's start reading. Go Wild on page 60. Animals need food to live and grow, but all animals don't eat the same things. Some big animals such as hippos eat plants. A hippo can eat more than 130 pounds of grass. So as we all know that living creatures or living things need food to live, right? We need food and water and oxygen to live. So one of the important things for animals to live is food. But do all animals eat the same thing? No. Here it says a big animal, like a hippo that you see here, eats plants. What kind of plants does a hippo eat? It eats grass, and it eats a lot. It can eat more than 130 pounds of grass. That's a lot of grass. Here on page 62, some small animals eat plants too. A squirrel eats loads of plant seeds. They like nuts and grains. A squirrel can smell a nut and find it even in the snow. So here we're talking and comparing between a big animal and a small animal. A big animal that eats plants but eats a lot of grass. Okay. Here we have a small animal that also eats plants. What kind of plants does this squirrel eat? It eats seeds, nuts, and grains. Okay. So seeds, you know that the seeds are like things that we plant, so it can grow into something. Nuts, we said before, different kinds of nuts. We talked about them before. And grains. Grains is a plant that you grow that it's like a yellowish color. And this animal, the squirrel, can find a nut even under the snow. It can smell it. So here we just talked about two animals that eat plants. Some animals hunt and eat other animals. First, this big cat runs fast to catch its meal. Then it will use its claws and teeth to eat. Okay, now we'll be talking about other animals that also need food to eat. But this animal, this leopard or this big cat, does not eat plants. It eats other animals. Okay, so what does it do? It has to catch or hunt the animal that it eats. Okay, what does it do? It hides and then it searches for when it finds an animal that it wants to eat, it runs after it, okay, and tries to catch it to eat it. What does this animal use? It uses its claws, the nails at the nails at the bottom of its legs. Okay, the paws. Okay, remember that the animals have legs, right? The hands of the legs or the arms. Here I'm just trying to explain what's the meaning of paws. Okay, so this cat has 4 legs. Okay, instead of saying hands or feet, it has something called paws. The paws have nails called claws. Okay, so the claws are the long nails that come out of the paws of the animals. So this cat uses its long claws and its teeth to catch or hunt the animal and eat it. Okay, now we'll read about another animal that eats different kind of animals. Frogs and toads seek insects and snails to eat. A big frog goes after mice too, but frogs and toads have no teeth, so they just gulp down their meal. Okay, so here we'll be talking about frogs and toads. Frogs and toads look alike, but they are different in certain ways, okay? So seek means they go around searching Remember, search means to look for something. Seek means to also look for something but in different places. Search is when you look for something in a certain place or a place that you know where you might find it. But seek means to go around to different place and look for something. So frogs and toads seek insects and snails to eat. So they go around trying to find insects and snails to eat. What else can a big frog eat? A big frog can eat mice. Mice is the plural of mouse. Okay, so frogs and toads, they eat insects and snails. Frogs can also eat mice. Okay, but because frogs and toads don't have teeth, what do? When they catch it with their long tongue? Okay, they stretch their long tongue. Stretch means to stick out their long tongue and wrap it around their food or their meal, and then they just swallow it. So that means they gulp down their meal. The word gulp here means to swallow their meal. Okay, so frogs and toads, they eat insects, snails, and mice. Okay, so the first 2 pages we talked about animals that eat plants. Do all animals eat the same plants? No, we just said that the hippo eats grass and the squirrel eats also plants, but a different type of plant, such as seeds, nuts, and grains. Okay, what about animals that eat other animals? Do they eat the same kind of animals? No. The cheetah or this leopard, okay, eats another animal, but it hunts it. It hunts it and it catches it with their long claws and teeth, and then it eats it. Here, toads and frogs also eat animals, but they eat different types of animals. They eat insects, snails, and mice. And because they don't have teeth like the big cat here, they just gulp it down or swallow it down their mouth. Okay. Next, on page 64, some animals eat both plants and animals. So some animals, they eat both plants and animals. An ostrich eats seeds and leaves, but it will search all over for insects, snakes, and lizards as well. Okay, so some animals eat only plants, other animal eats only animals, and other animals eat both plants and animals. This ostrich, this big bird, eats seeds and leaves. Okay, seeds is the small seeds that we plant, and leaves that are found on the trees. But what else? It searches or goes around in its place looking for insects, snakes, and lizards to eat. Okay, so an ostrich is an animal that eats both plants and animals. A painted turtle eats plants, fish, and frogs. This reptile lives in lakes and ponds. It likes the cold water at first, but then it will come up on land to get warm. Okay, we read about turtles before when we took the story about at the pond. Okay, this is a kind of turtle called painted turtle. It's a little bit colorful. So this turtle, what does it eat? If you guys remember that turtles can eat different plants, it can eat fish and frogs. Okay, so this turtle is a reptile. You guys know what a reptile is from social, right? It's cold-blooded. Or from science, I apologize. So this turtle is a reptile. Where can you find turtles? In lakes and ponds, in fresh water. It likes the cold water at first, but then it will come up and land to get warm. So here we just read about 2 animals, the ostrich and the turtle, that eat both plants and animals. Okay? The ostrich eats seeds and leaves, but also eats animals such as insects, snakes, and lizards. Okay, it searches. It goes around searching the land or the grass for these animals to eat. The turtle that lives in a pond or a lake also eats plants and animals. What does it eat? It eats plants found near the pond or the lake. It eats fish and frogs. Okay, it sometimes stays in the water, but when it comes up and sits on the land or a rock to get warm. On page 66, a bear may start its day by eating plants. Next, it may go fishing in a lake. After that, a bear may go hunting. Then it may even go to a campsite. Most bears will eat plants, animals, and people food. Is there any food left here to eat? If so, a bear will find it. In the wild, animals find food in lots of places. Okay, so the story here ends by talking about a bear, and it shows you a sequence. Okay, so a bear begins its day by eating some plants. It can eat some leaves, it can eat some berries. Next, it goes fishing. It goes into a lake and searches for a fish. After that, a bear may go hunting. So after that, it goes hunting. It seeks other food to eat. And then it may go to a campsite. Sometimes people like to go camping in the forest, and a bear might come searching for food. Now here there's a picture of the bear inside the tent searching for food. Who does the food belong to? It belongs to people. So it says here that animals that live in the wild, that live in nature, can find food in many places. Okay, so today we discussed about animals and different food they eat. Some eat only plants, some eat only animals, and some eat both. Here, we talked about the sequence of the things that a bear can eat during a day. Okay, so what do animals eat in the wild? As we just mentioned, animals eat many different kind of things, and you can choose any of the animals and tell me what they eat. Okay. Here, as we've been discussing from last week, main idea and key details. Main idea is what the whole story is mostly about. And the details are the important sentences that supports or helps us explain the main idea. So what is the main idea today? We said the animals that live in the nature, animals in the wild, eat many different things. Okay, so what was the story about again? The story is about the animals that live in the wild or in nature and the different things that they eat. Okay, we said some animals such as hippo eat plants. We said hippos eat plants, so do squirrels. Okay, they eat different plants. Hippos eat grass and squirrels eat seeds and nuts and grains. What about the animals that eat only, that here says what? It says some animals such as ostriches eat both plants and animals. Here, an animal such as an ostrich or a frog, they eat both. They can eat animals and they can eat plants. And at the end here, some animals such as frog eat other animals. Okay. We can also add another detail. We can say some animals such as the cheetah hunt for other animals to eat, because they only eat animals. Okay, so the key details are sentences that support or tell us more about the main idea. So every story has only one main idea and details to tell us more about the main idea. Okay, so that was the short for this story. And again, as you see, that the story is a nonfiction. A nonfiction is an informational text. Means the story gives us real information about a real topic. Okay, this is all real. This is what is the topic? How animals that live in nature find food. They go and they eat different food and they search for it. They find food in different places. Okay, so what else shows you that the story is that story is a nonfiction? There are real photos of how animals are searching for food or eating the food that they eat. Okay, that was it. Thank you, guys.